Hello, 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 and welcome back to Crisp ASMR. How are you feeling today? I hope you're doing well. You can see we have a departure from the previous chess puzzle videos, and that's because I thought it would be really fun to do something a little bit different. And what's in front of us, but something still puzzle adjacent. And one of my hobbies, if I'm taking the train or on a commute, is to do Killer Sudoku. Sounds terrifying, but for those who may not know, I'll give some more details about what it is in the description below. But basically, there are, on the expert level, there are no digits. The normal Sudoku rules apply, where each box should have the numbers 1 to 9 with no repeats, and the same goes for each row, vertically or horizontally. And the extra rule for Killer Sudoku is that within each of the cages, the numbers inside must add up to the number on the top left corner, and the numbers should not repeat. So let's say this one crosses boxes, then the numbers inside should only occur once and add up to 13. It's a fun, different kind of challenge of Sudoku, and I hope you enjoy it today. This video is inspired by the amazing YouTube channel Cracking the Cryptic. I love the alliterative C. They are an amazing British duo of crossword and Sudoku champions, and the only reason I've heard of Killer Sudoku at all, I think, is thanks to them. So please check them out after this video if somehow you've never seen them before. I've actually fallen asleep to some of Simon's videos before, and it's not even intentional. He just has this really relaxing voice, and they explain it so logically. Their brains are amazing, so I thought maybe I could give it a try too. So without further ado, please sit back, relax, and let's enjoy this puzzle together. I have not looked at this. This is a new puzzle to me, so what you see me doing is in real time. It's just a random one on the website, so let's see how this goes. Okay, so I can see that this website version seems to differ to the app, as there are some squares with single cages. So of course, let's fill those in first. The only thing that adds up to a 5 is of course a 5. And this has to be a 4. Now, another trick is to look for numbers where there's only one or very limited possibilities of things that could add up to it. And one example of this is, of course, the number 4. Now, out of the digits 1 to 9, there's only one possible combination where it doesn't repeat, and that is the 3 and the 1. We don't know where they are, so I'm going to make a note of that right here. Ooh, I can use my number pad. Okay. But we know that the 1 and the 3 are in here somewhere. Okay. Now, another secret, really important secret of Sudoku, and Killer Sudoku especially, is that due to each box having the numbers 1 to 9, then working backwards, we know that each box must add up to 45. Yes. So with that logic, how does that help us solve the puzzle? Well, you can see in this box, this must equal to 45, but we have one extra here sticking out. Now, we know if this is 30, we add 7 and 7, that's 44. This is 49, then we know that 49 minus 45 is 4, so this box must equal to 4. Nice. Okay. And now we know 4. Whoops. Now we know 4 is somewhere in this area. And we know that it's not here. Now, the 5 is gone, and there are only, how many combinations are there that can make 7? Well, 6, 1, 5, 2, and 4, 3. So we know if the 5 is gone, the 2 cannot be in the 7s. So the 2 is somewhere here. And we know that this must be 1, 6, 1, 6, 6, 1, 6, or it's 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. And that means the remaining numbers, the ones that aren't here, the 9, the 7, and the 8, must be in the 30 box. Also, we could have known that earlier because there's no way the 7, 8, and 9 could fit in 7. Now, we have this box here right next to it with an 8. And since 8 is such a small number, but it's comprised of 3 smaller numbers, we know that it must be. There's only very limited options that it could be. Now, it can't be 6. There's no 6, 2, 1, that's 9. If the 4 is gone, then I think that only leaves one possible combination, and that means that is 5, 2, and 1. Yes, and that eliminates the 2s and the 1s from the top. So we know it's this is now either 3 and 4 or 6 and 1. But the remaining, this other 7 box could be any combination for now. But I think that's pretty good so far. Now, okay, 15 can only be 9 and 6. 9, 6, or 7 and 8. But we don't know enough yet. But we know the 9s are not in here. Okay, let's see what else we can figure out from the rest of the Sudoku now. Okay. This one is quite self-contained. We know that 1, 3 are here. The 2 can't be here, but the 2 could be elsewhere, so that's not very helpful right now. Okay. So, as mentioned before, each row must also add up to 45 by the same logic of the 1 to 9. So this top row, I think we might be able to figure it out. So let's see. 15 plus 8. We know it's 15 plus 8. That's 23. 23, 24 is 4, 27. Okay, 27. And we know this number, 27, is either 27, we're adding either 7 plus 8, 27. Oh, and the minimum it has to be is plus 15 or plus 17. So 7 and 8 or 9 and 8. So 27. It's either 33, is it? No, 32 or 34. 32 or 34. Is that correct? So, sorry, 42 or 44. 42 or 44. I missed out a 10. So, to recap, this is 23. So to recap, these two add up to 23 and then 27. If we add another either 15 or 17, that means it's going to add up to 42 to 44, in which case it is impossible for this to be a 6. It must be a 3. Nice. Which makes this a 4. And that means... what does that mean? That means the 6 is here. Yep. But we don't know where the 6 is. We know that the 6 must be somewhere here because we have already figured out the top row. But we don't know... oh, which means we know that this is 6 and 9. Nice. With that, we have that row and we know the 9 cannot be here. That must be a 7, 8, so this must be a 2, 9 pair. Very good. Okay, very nice. Which means the 9 must be along here somewhere. This is still possible to be 9, 2, assuming the 2 is here. So we have to keep that possibility. But now we know the 9 is there. So we're making progress. Okay. Now, where can we move to? Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Maybe we can figure out what these two need to add up to, and that could give us a clue. So 25 to 36, 36 to 45, we need 9, so we know that these two must add up to 9. These two squares need to add up to 9. Okay. We know 1 must be somewhere on the top row because it's impossible for 1 to go here or here. So let's add that in our notes. 1, which means this here. This row needs to be 1s as well. Okay. That's good. What else do we know? Okay, we know maybe this row we can find out what these two might be. So this needs to be 16. 16 plus 9, 25, 35. These two need to add up to 10. The only way we can do that is 6 and 4 or 9 and 1. And I think we cannot do 6 and 4. I think this needs to be a 1, which means that needs to be a 9. Nice. Okay. Very good. Very good. That is good. Good progress. Now we know that this row has an 8 in it. Somewhere. If we know the 1 is here, we know this is either 2 or 5. That is good information. And now we know, okay. Now we know the 9 is here. Then for a fact, this cannot have a 2 in it because the maximum way we can add a 2 is if we have the other numbers being 9 and 8, but it can't be there. So we know the 2 must be in the 12. And by the reverse logic, we know the 8 cannot be in this 12 because the 1 is here. The only way 8 could be in a 12 is if it's met with 3 and 1. So we know the 8 must be in the other row, which means the 8 is somewhere here. Very nice. And now the 9. Yep, there is no 9. Only in here or in here. This is 2. This needs to, that means we need to add the rest to 10. And that means there's no way it can be a 5. 5 cannot work because you need 2 5s to make a 10. So we know the 5 is in the 19. And we have 2 numbers already. 8 plus 5 is 13. 13 needs a 6 in order to become 19. And we now know that the other numbers in the 12 are 3 and 7. Nice. Okay. And now our options for this 9 are limited. We know it's not 8, 1. There's 8, 1. There's 7, 2, 6, 3, and 5, 4. Well, it's not 8, 1. It's not 6. It's not 6, 3. And it's not 5, 4 because of the 5. So we know this must be 7 and 2. which leaves this being the only possible combination of 9 and 4. Yes, okay. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to help on this row, but we know we've sorted out what needs to go where. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Let's look at this 12. What's possible to make 12? It's either 9, 3, 9, 3, 8, 4, 7, 5. I like to go 9. It's like the opposite. The more you go into the numbers, the way to make numbers combinations is to go inwards, but you can't really see that here. It's hard to visualize on a number pad like this, but 9, 3, 8, 4, 7, 5. You go down and you go up 1. So that's all still possible. So I'm not going to touch that 12. But let's look at this 9. Okay. We have 8, 1 already. 7, 2 still not possible anymore. Because no matter what this is, it's going to prevent this from being 7, 2. 6, 3 cannot anymore. So the only possibility is 5, 4. So this has to be 5 and a 4, which means this is a 2. Yes, which means this row somewhere has a 2. And I don't think it's here because there's no way that's a 9. So it's either here or here. There is a 2 situated. Okay. This cannot be a 9 anymore because there's a 2 here. The only possible ways to make 11 are 8, 3 now. 9, okay, 8, 3, 7, 4, 6, 5. Which it cannot be. So it cannot be because the 5s are also here. So this has to be 8 and 3. Excellent. So now we know for a fact that the 3 is here or here. If the 3 were here, this would be a 9. We can't rule that possibility yet, but we can leave. Well, the other possibility is a 7. In which case this would be a 5, which is still possible, so we're going to leave that for now. Okay, 8, 1, 7, 2, 7, 2. Possible, okay. 6, 6, okay. And now we know that this is a 6. We're trying to make 9. That means 9 cannot be here because we need one more number. So we know for a fact that this is a 9, which leaves the remaining square a 2, which means this adding up to we needing to make 9 is a 7. And now we know where all the things go here. Let me sip my tea. Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay, so it looks like previously this 4 filled out, so we know that this is now a 9. And now this is a 4. Same with this 7 and 2. Now let's see if this helps us figure out the rows here. Okay. 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 Well, if these need to add up to 10, was it 10? I don't remember. But let's see. I don't remember. Let's see. 25, 25, 36. This needs to add up to 9. Then we know that since there's an 8 here, we know this cannot be a 1 anymore. This can no longer be a 1 because that would mean this has to be an 8. So we can get rid of that. And we know the 9 has to be somewhere in these 4 squares, thanks to the 9s along here. But 9 being here means this needs to be a 4. That's possible. But 9 being here means we need 2 and 1. A bit more restricted, but it's still possible. Still possible. Ah, okay. Another trick is the moment you eliminate a 3 and there's a pair in another box in the same row, that means we know the 1s are definitely here, meaning the 1s have to be in this column in the middle. Let me just double check. This cannot be a 1 because of the 8 here. Yes, that's correct. So this now must be a 1 in this row somewhere. We don't know where yet. Ah, okay. If this were a 1, this would have to be a 9 in order to make 19. So this definitely cannot be a 1. We can rule that out for sure. And we know we can rule that one out for sure. Let's think. We know that the 9, well, if we know the 9 cannot be, can the 9 be here? Yes, sorry, the 9 can be here. But the 9 can also be here. We still haven't ruled that out. And the 7 could still be here. The 8. So we know this is either 9, 6, 9. We know that this is either 9, 6 or 8, 7. Okay. Okay. Sometimes it's helpful to look at really large numbers. 26 is relatively big because the biggest number you can make with 3 is 24. 9 plus 8 plus 7, 24. Meaning the 2 can be here, but there's no way the 1 can be here. So 1 is either in here or here. But does that help us? We know that yep, so you could still have a 2 in there, but we have no more 3, 4, and 5, so we're looking for a way to plug in 6 as well. If we were to plug in a 6 in the 26, is that possible with 6, 8, 7, and 2? No, it's not. It's not possible. Because that would be a 14, 16, that would be 23. So we can't make it unless we have a 9 in there. We need to have the 9 in this large number. We don't know where yet, but we know the 9 needs to be in there somewhere. And in that case, the only possible combination that we have to make that number is indeed 9, 8, 7, and 2. So we know that all of those must live in there somewhere. Okay, and we have remaining the 6 and the 1. So it's still possible that this is 1, 9 or 6, 4. That's still possible right now. And if this, okay, this could be a 1 or a 6. Technically, it's still possible. So we find out the cage, but that doesn't help us yet by itself. Let's see if there's anywhere else that could help us. Okay. Maybe we can also figure out what these need to add up to. So like we said before, this was 36. These add up to 36. So we also know that these two need to add up to the remainder after 45. So 36, that's 44. 44, 53. So we know that these two need to add up to 8. So 8 is not going to be anywhere in those squares for sure. So we know 8 is going to be elsewhere. Living in here. But does that help us? We know it's not 8. We know it's, of course, we know it's not a 4. I think sometimes it's helpful to just write down all the possibilities. Okay. So these add up to 8, these add up to 9. Well, let's see. Where else can we look? Okay. Okay, so based on that helps us because we know if this is an 8, that means since this is 19, this needs to be 10, that's 27, and now we know this is 8. If we know that is 8, then we can say it's 27 plus 8, which is 35, and now we know it's 35 plus another 13, which is 48. Now we know this needs to be a 3. Is that correct, please? Yes, because that's the remainder after we add, after 45. So now we know this is a 10. That must be a 3 now, because it doesn't live there, and we know now this is a 3 and this is a 1. Excellent. And we have the 3's on this side done, which means this is now a 7, which makes this a 5. And now the only way we can have 9 live in this box is if it was 9 was here, which makes this a 6. And now I can fill out the remainder here. Okay, very nice. We made progress. Now we know this is a 10, which means there's no 5 in here. 5 can't be here either because of this. So it's not 5. 5 needs to be somewhere. Oh my gosh, sorry. I keep forgetting to turn on the notes. 5 needs to be somewhere in this box right here, but 5 cannot live here since there's a 4 here, so we can take that away. We know this 17 definitely has a 5, which means it needs to add up to 12. 8 and 4 is still possible, so we can leave that there for now, but we know that the 5 is in there somewhere. 12 is made with 9 and 3, 9 and 3, 8, 4, 7, 5. But we know that's not 7, 5 since the 5 is in there. So the 7 needs to be elsewhere. But currently we don't have enough information to know where. Just that 7 is not in it. Okay. Okay. Similarly, this is a 10, so not 9, 1, so the 1 doesn't live in there. That should still be possible. 1 and 5, so I should keep that there. Now it's a 5, and then that means this. The 2 cannot live here. The 2 can't live here because it needs to add up to 8. So the 2 is either in here, in here, or in here, which means the 2's must live on this row here. But that's also still possible. And so I cannot do much with that now. Okay. Let's see. What else do we know? What else? There must be something that we can use. Perhaps this square here, we know 21, 28. Okay, 28. So the remaining 3 boxes, the remaining 3 squares, this is 28, must equal to 17. Okay, so this, and this must be 17. 17. So it cannot be 9 and 8. Or even 9 and 7 together. It could be 9, 2. 9, 2, and 9, 2, and wait, sorry, did we say 17? Yeah, 17. So it can be 9 and 8. It could be 9, 7, and 1. Sorry, 9, 7. Yeah, 9, 7, and 1. Okay. Or we could figure out how big these three should be, maybe. Let's see. So 11, 9, 7, 16, 27, 16, 27. We need to make 18 now. 18 with these numbers. What's the possible combination out of these 6 numbers to make 18? Okay, 9, 2, and 9, 2, 7, possible. 9 and 8 can't. 9, 6, and 2. 9, 6, and 2 cannot. I think it has to be. I think the combination has to be. Oh, or 9, 1, and 8. Okay, 9, 1, and 8. Or 9, 7, and 2. But that's not possible because the numbers are all here. So it must be 9, 1, and 8. Let's see. Oh, that's nice. It's really satisfying to get it correct. We've gotten that box done. Okay. Looks really great. So now we know the 9 is definitely not here. So it's either here or just in here. There's 2 possible squares. So it's still not ruled out. But at least we know this is not 9, 2. It's not 8, 3. So it's 7, 4, or 5, 6. Let's write that down. We know, thanks to these 2 4s, that the 4 is somewhere in here. Okay, 1. But this is still true, so we still have a lot of ground to cover. 7, 8, 7 must live here somewhere. We know that. The 6, this could be. This cannot be 6 and 1. 6, 1, okay. 5, 2. Okay, 5. This could be 5, 2. Could it be 4, 3? Yep, it could be 4, 3. Does that help us? Let's see. Not 9. This is, of course, not 9, 2. 8, 3, 7, 4. Okay. Okay. Oh, of course. This cannot be 5, 2. It can't be 6, 1. So this has to be 4, 3. Of course. So this cannot be a 4. This has to be 9 and 1. Excellent. So we now know that 9 can only live here. No, this is a 6. And I believe this is a 1 from the remainder. Nice. Okay. And now we know this row, this column is missing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's missing an 8. So now this is definitely a 7. It's not going to live in the 7 box after all, which means this is now a 4 and a 3. This is the 7, this is the 8, and this is the 2. Meaning the 2 is either here or here. So let's just mark that down for now. And this is definitely a 5 and a 6 to make 11. Which now leaves us with this not being able to be a 4. This needs to be a 2 and an 8. And now this is a 7 and a 2. And if this... Okay, this with the remaining number in the row must be a 4. And if this is a 7, then we know for sure that this is going to be a 6 to add up to 13. Nice. Okay, and now we know that this is a 9 and 4 pair. This is either going to be an 8 or a 5. And let's see. 8, 3 is not possible to make 11. So this has to be a 5 and 6 pair. Now this is an 8, this is a 5, and this is a 6, completing this entire right side. This looks to be the only possibility to be a 2. So we know now that this needs to add up to 10. It cannot be 1 and 9 pair since the 9 is here. So this is definitely not a 1, meaning this has to be our 1. Meaning this is a 7, this is a 5, and this is a 1. Which makes this a 7, and this a 6. Making this an 8, meaning this row, for this row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this has to be a 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. What's missing to make 12? That's very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Meaning the 1 is here. And now we know this is a 5, and we're almost done. Okay, and now the 5 has to live here. This is a 4 and a 3, and we know the 4 is the 3 cannot be here. The 3 must be here. And that leaves this to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now this is 4. And now this is 3. And we have just completed our first Killer Sudoku. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me as we worked through this Killer Sudoku. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. Your support really means so much, and hope to see you again next time. Stay well until then. Bye-bye.